we're celebrating Malaysia Day. This is a rather special interview that we want to focus on, which is trying to see how governmental institutions and institutions that relate to the government can actually move forward when it comes to the ability for us to bring this country even further. Very recently, Ekuinas has launched the Iltizam Catalyst program, a program that focuses on SMEs and try to see where the assistance can come when it comes to assisting SMEs. Joining us is Encik Izwani Hassan, Ekuinas Director of Stakeholder Interest, and joining us here to talk about not just about the Iltizam Catalyst program, but many more issues surrounding it. Let's learn a little bit more about the Iltizam Catalyst program, Izwani.
Okay, but before I go to Catalyst, maybe I should talk about the whole program that we do for Iltizam. And prior to that, I think the context is that we are a private equity firm owned by the government, and our job is to invest and to make money. Along the way, our ticket size of our investment is 30 million. And in the first few years, we had a lot of booming entrepreneurs coming to us asking for investment assistance, but we find that we cannot invest in them because they're too small. So what we then started was, this is how we started the CSR program, by helping Bumi Putra entrepreneurs through our Iltizam program. So since then, we have grown to do more and more programs. So Catalyst is a new program that we're launching this year to assist 30 entrepreneurs, Bumi Putra entrepreneurs, to do capacity building. So this is different to a lot of other programs where it's a lot about giving grants. So this is not grant giving. This is using Ekuinas expertise to help grow Bumi Putra business. So essentially, we know that in the last 12 years of doing helping entrepreneurs, we know there's 4 issues Bumi Putra entrepreneurs face. Normally, it's financial management and governance. Second is about marketing. Third is about digitalization. And fourth is about leadership. So what we do is, this is a simple program where these are the 4 areas. The entrepreneur applies and say which of these areas is you're having problem with, and this is where we assist you with that.
So do they know where the problems are? Normally people don't know what they don't know?
So normally they know, because we have a series of questionnaires. So that's the starting point. And then what we do is we do diagnostics. So far we've had, the application is open until 2nd October. Currently we have about 20 who applied. We have about 100 plus who are still in the process of filling up the form. And based on what we see, we know that about half of them qualify for this.
Is there a cap in terms of?
Okay, assistance, on average, we're estimating assistance between 25,000 to 30,000 per entrepreneur. We have budgeted about 850,000 for this.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the developments that is currently happening when it comes to assisting entrepreneurs in this space, particularly Bumi Putra entrepreneurs. Malaysia Day is all about trying to assist the kind of developments that we can see in terms of helping all Malaysians. Where's the focus in helping all Malaysians versus the assistance of Bumi Putra entrepreneurs?
Okay, so when we talk about helping all Malaysians, so we know that the driver of the economy is SMEs. So the last 2 years have seen a lot of businesses being hit by the pandemic. So one of the programs that we did in 2000, actually at Catalyst we wanted to do it 2 years ago. But because of the pandemic, we halted it because no point us doing that program then. So we did Iltizam Ehsan. So Iltizam Ehsan was helping small businesses to be ready to take advantage of the economy when it opens. So our intention for doing that is that, number one, these entrepreneurs not just will generate income for themselves, they will create jobs. So the whole idea of us helping smaller entrepreneurs, they can create jobs. So just an example, we assisted Raw Denim House, which is in Besut, Terengganu. They make bespoke jeans, so all the way in Terengganu. So during the pandemic, they couldn't operate. So during that time, we assisted them in terms of helping pay salaries for their staff. Because the idea is this: if during the pandemic, they are artisanal jean makers, if they quit and find other jobs, then when the economy opens up, they cannot operate again. So we, for that particular example, we wanted them to be able to be together, and once the economy opens, they will be back in business. So the whole idea about this is SMEs will make the economy grow and create jobs.
Okay, being in the PE space, it's important for you to look at the whole broad spectrum of investment. And normally PE space involves investment in bigger ticket volumes. Where does this tie up with the Ekuinas directional space in terms of investing in bigger ticket volumes versus assisting SMEs at 30,000 ringgit per employee, per entrepreneur?
Okay, that's a very good question. So in the past, Ekuinas, if we go back 10, 12 years ago, Ekuinas only invests in companies ticket size 30 million and above. So there was a gap in terms of us assisting other Buniputra entrepreneurs in the ecosystem. So then we started to do Iltizam Advance, assisting 3 to 5 companies a year at revenue maybe 300,000 above. So then we've introduced Catalyst Iltizam Ihsan to help micro. So this year with the introduction of Catalyst, we have now covered 350 million to 1 million. And the idea is that from small to big, in Ekuinas, you have the whole ecosystem. So it's about wherever you are in the Buniputra entrepreneur space, you come to us, we will have something for you.
Okay, big or small, that should be the way. Finally, before we go into the break, I want to ask you a little bit more about the outreach in terms of trying to get people a little bit more aware towards the Iltizam program. How are you reaching out to the market to ensure that the entrepreneurs who deeply need this actually know about this?
Okay, for Iltizam, we use our network, obviously. Then we have social media. We find that social media gets a lot of traction rather than the normal. So you will not find us advertising in the newspapers, in the media. We will use social media. At the same time, we will go to all the associations and NGOs who have connections with the entrepreneurs, and we will talk directly to them.
Izwani, let's talk a little bit more about the work of Ekuinas outside of Iltizam, but just the work of Ekuinas. Very recently, I was at the MDV event, Malaysian Debt Ventures event. They were talking about a potential investor winter that is facing us. We're looking at a situation where geopolitical concerns are rising, political risk in Malaysia and many other countries is also increasing. The currency risk is also facing us right now at 4.6 as of this morning to the US dollar. And of course, interest rates is increasing, inflation rate is increasing. Things don't look all too good when it comes to macroeconomic conditions. And whether or not investors are reacting to this is also another concern. Do you feel like an institution like Ekuinas is going to hold back on your cash in terms of investments? Do you feel that that big ticket size of that 30 million ringgit and above, for instance, is not going to be seen anytime soon, considering the economic conditions are actually not as promising as before?
Okay, so I will start with the caveat. I'm not from the investment side, but I think what you said, all that is true. So I think at the moment, in terms of looking at investment, Ekuinas is on a wait-and-see mode. We will be investing, plus we also be divesting. And the key point to note is that it's all about valuation. So what you will see is that companies who have done well during the pandemic now are not doing well because they rely on the pandemic. But on the converse, companies who did not do well during the pandemic are now doing well. So it's about looking to see where the best opportunities will be. And I think currently the issue is all about valuation, whether the valuation that is available is realistic.
Okay, let's talk about the due diligence that normally goes hand in hand when it comes to PEVC kind of world. There used to be a term that people used, the fast and furious of investment. They just deploy investment to a point where sometimes due deal isn't done as well thoroughly as they should. Do you feel that that needs to be talked about moving forward when PEVC needs to look at perhaps doing a little bit better thoroughly due diligence and try to understand a little bit better the business that the entrepreneurs are in?
Okay, I can't talk about the industry as a whole, but if we're talking about Ekuinas, I think we are very clear from the onset that we are transparent, we are into corporate governance, and we are clear about reporting. So therefore, on that note, we will not take shortcuts in terms of due diligence and all that. I think it's the same if I take back to Iltizam. We have a 20 million budget for our CSR program. I would like to think that we also practice good governance. We are transparent in terms of what we do in terms of CSR as well.
Do you actually track the kind of graduates from the Iltizam program?
Yes, we do. Currently, okay, if you talk about the graduates from Iltizam program, just so happened in Astro itself, we have 2 from last year's intake. I mean, they were placed here, and I'll be meeting them at 11:30. We have an alumni of 600, and we keep in touch with them. So just to give 2 simple examples, I get reference calls from them all the time. So we know that the job market is good now because I get 5 reference calls a week for graduates from 2012, 14, 15. So our saying is that you can leave Iltizam, but Iltizam will never leave you. So that's an example. So we had 2 informal events in the last 3 months. 70, 80 people turn up. And these are from the old cohorts. And they bring their families. So we track, we know what's happening.
What about growth? Any of them are actually growing to a point where it's, scalable?
What do you mean by that?
Like they are starting off taking 30,000 ringgit from Iltizam. Today they're running a $40 million company.
Okay, to be fair, it's too early because
But it's been going on for 10 years now.
Iltizam has been around for 12 years with a cohort of 9. So we started to grow big from 2016.
So it's actually a fair question, no?
Yep.
Somebody has been taking Iltizam money from 12 years ago.
You're talking about graduate training. So we have people now in managerial positions, in senior manager positions.
Oh, okay.
So that's not business. That's graduate training, employability.
Got it.
So they came from the B40. They do not. So we take graduates who do not have network. Basically, they're the first generation Bumi Putra degree holders.
Yeah.
And they train with us.
Yeah.
And our job is to get them a job.
Okay. And those guys, tracking wise, I'm pretty sure.
We know where they are. And they will come back to us throughout their lifetime career mentoring with us.
And so how do you measure success when it comes to graduate programs?
Employability. So our target is to get 90% and above employment within 6 months after finishing our program.
What's the number?
Average is 80, but last year we achieved 97% during pandemic. So that's okay. To be fair, 2020 was not a good year. We got 70%.
Okay.
So we learned from that and we pivoted, and last year we achieved 97%.
It's amazing, right? I mean,
jobs. I think there are graduates who come up from our universities. They do not know what jobs to look for. They do not know where to look jobs because they don't have the connections. They don't have the network. So that's what we give them.
What about female-male kind of ratio?
Okay. Most of the time, 60% female, 40% male. And we have I think that reflects of what the local university produces, right? More females than males.
Not in my class. I did accounting. There's only 3 males in, 200 females.
Okay, I think you're UIA, right?
Yes. Oh my God, you know the number.
So I've been to UIA. I mean, I did a few talks in UIA. When I entered the hall, it's 90% ladies.
I agree. And it's a rather scary kind of ratio.
So I'm not sure.
There's no kids
there. But having said that, I think what we found with the recent cohort, some of them do not work for 2 years because they do things like Grab, they do things like selling stuff, and then I think they realize they can earn money doing all those things, but they cannot grow. So then they join our program.
Okay, we need to talk more about that. But before we do that, we have to go into one short break. We'll be right back after these messages. Thanks for staying on with us. I have with me Hizwani Hassan of Ekuinas. Let's talk a little bit more about both talent development as well as entrepreneurship building, the items that you are trying to get across in Ekuinas. One thing that we need to also talk about is the kind of outlook and trajectory that is going to face entrepreneurs in Malaysia. The guest on my show before you literally just said that Malaysia is a country of SMEs. And he's using that based on the 90% or 95% on the 97% ratio of businesses in Malaysia being SMEs. And he was talking about the dearth of digitization. These companies are not necessarily able to equip themselves when it comes to digital knowledge, coding, many others, digital marketing, many more. Do you feel that that is an area that needs to be focused on moving forward, particularly when we take our SMEs to the next level? I'm not saying that we need to create unicorns or startups in the future, but perhaps SMEs that are able to compete at the very highest level in their respective industries.
Okay, right. So this is where Iltizam Catalyst came in. So the idea of Iltizam Catalyst came about when we talked to entrepreneurs. I mean, we tested this with entrepreneurs, and that's why one of the items is digitalization. What we find is that, okay, you may not want to be a unicorn, but you still want to be the best in your area, so you need to digitalize and automate. And what we find is that either they do not have the funds to do it, or if they have the funds to do it, they do not know how to go about it, right? They do not know which solution to look for. So therefore, that's why we embed it as one of the things that we do in the Catalyst program. So the answer to you is yes, you need to get into automationization. Otherwise, you will not survive.
Now, do you inculcate these kind of programs into the syllabus that you're running?
So for the graduate training program, we actually have coding. We actually have design thinking, and it's just to give them a taster of what is available and what is out there.
But not so much of a focus?
No, because our focus when they join our graduate training program is they need to work. So they get paid a salary of 2005, it's real work. So the training time is limited. So we have about 50 training days a year. So we need to really focus. I think the biggest challenge that they face is communication, soft skills, and English. So therefore, if we want to put coding has to be put aside first, because for them to get permanent jobs, they need to have those three essential skills of communication, English, and soft skills.
Why is the CSR element of Ekuinas focusing more on this? Shouldn't you guys be looking at other areas of assistance?
Okay, we have three different pillars. So we have community, which we spend about 1 million a year. We have education, which used to be the biggest, about 7 million, and we have entrepreneurship, which is now 8 million. Why we focus on education? Because we believe that a lot of Ekuinas staff, including me, we are privileged to have studied at the best places, to have worked in the best companies such as EY, McKinsey, Bain. So therefore, we know there's a group of Bumiputras from, I don't know, Kampung Serena Cetok ke, from Arau ke, who do not have this privileges. So therefore, that's why we take into our program to give them the same. So it's only 1 year, but that should make a life difference for them. And if they can change their life, that one person, they can change their family, become role models for their family, and become role models for the kampung. So that will uplift the community better. So that's also our investment.
What would be some of the things that are in store right now for Ekuinas moving forward? Do you want to share, or are able to share some of the ideas? Plans, I mean.
Okay, so what? This is for businesses.
Yeah.
We want. I think in the past we tend to do little initiatives. So what we want to do now, we want to do more. We believe that we have the program to do it, but we want more people to take up the program. So that's the main thing that we want to do.
Being a special episode on Malaysia Day, there are some aspirations that I want to ask you that perhaps you can share with us. What will be some of the 2 or 3 things that you wish to see for Malaysia Day moving forward?
Okay, I'll just share for our graduate training program, we have this thing called Harap Value. So Harap Value is acronym HARAP, but the idea is that we want all the graduates to be orang yang boleh diharap. And in Harap is H, humility, A is agility, R is resilient, A is adab, and P is professionalism. So if I can take this Harap, I would like all Malaysians to be harap, boleh diharap di mana saja. And the adab is important. I think our society is losing the adab, and we need to go back to the adab.
I think that element is lost only in the digital space. Believe me when I say that people tend to be a little bit more polite when they put people face to face. However, when you go into the social media space, it's just horrible. It's just
Keyboard warrior.
Not keyboard warrior. People just behave differently when they're online. I mean, it's just how it is.
So therefore, if you're a person yang beradab, doesn't matter whether you're online or not. So that's the point that we want to make.
I agree. However, it's very hard for us to. I mean, we can
It's
dream
not
and aspire.
impossible.
Yeah, it's not
Impossible.
impossible. Of course not.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you
That
very
was
much.
Hizwani Hassan, the Ekuinas Director of Stakeholder Interest. There's a lot of items that can be unpacked here, but for now, Astro AWANI is taking the time to spend, to explain, to share, to educate, to inform, to entertain all Malaysians, to be a little bit more progressive, proactive, and a little bit more inclusive when it comes to Malaysia Day. Please share your thoughts, wishes, concerns, questions to us at 501 Awani on your aspirations for Malaysia Day. You can also tweet to me directly at Ibrahim Sadinet or DM me directly on IG as well. And we will air some of your opinions, questions and concerns over on this network. But until then, thanks very much for joining us and happy Malaysia Day for every single Malaysians out there. Till then, see you in the next one.